Okay, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending, of course, on where in the world you are watching this. My name is Fortunate Lumani, and this is very random, right? Absolutely random, but I thought I should share some of the things that helped me out with my son and his ability to read. So I thought I should share a couple of tips to help parents, especially if you have kids who are around the ages 5 to 7, maybe 8, right? And you really want them to learn how to read, or maybe they are studying to learn how to read and all of that. And there's a couple of things that I do, or I did rather, and that I was quite conscious about when I was busy with my son, that actually helped where my son is when it comes to reading. He's quite fluent in reading English, and his vocabulary is quite big. So I thought I should share. Okay, tip number one. Tip number one, put away the videos, right? I know, especially, and this is especially for people that do not go to multiracial schools. So, and you know that your child is not exposed to the English language as much as, kids that are going to multiracial schools, right? So if ungena elokishini and your child or hears or isn't as exposed to English as much, you would think that letting your child watch all of these YouTube videos, it might be cartoons, it might be educational, but sometimes it really isn't. So I would really suggest that you cut down on the videos, right? Cut down on CoComelons and all of these. It sounds educational, honestly. They're going to be talking about the weather, or a lot. In fact, I don't know what CoComelon teaches. I'm dying, I know, but it's really cut down on all of those videos. I would rather, especially if they're around 5 going down, I would rather you give them videos, right? Because one thing about games, right? I'd really prefer that you give them games, because one thing about videos, it's almost like it makes them dull. They just watch, they're not engaged. There's nothing that they are doing as part of that that challenges them in any way. I would much rather prefer that you give them games, and that's what we did. We got his tablet filled with games, educational games, ABCs, 1, 2, 3s, coloring games, all of these games that will teach all of the things that a child their age will need. And these help a lot with alphabets and all of that, and numbers and shapes and colors and fruits and all of these things that you would think they learn in a song, like CoComelon A for apple. It's just a song. Sometimes it doesn't even that much as you think it does. So rather they be engaged in a game where they would need to select and think, they are more engaged the more they learn, right? So number one, give them games, not the videos. Okay, number 2, right? This was one of the things that I had to be conscious about. I think I don't even know if I heard it somewhere or it was just something that I thought of. But when it comes to my son, right, he obviously learned how to speak English. And in fact, he had such a very, very strong American accent because of all of the content that we would be feeding him at a very young age, right? And which is okay and well. I really don't mind that. He's outgrown the accent. He's not speaking properly like a South African. But his vocabulary is really good. And one of the things that we did with my partner was that we didn't dumb down our language with him. We tend to speak to kids in a baby language, like, are you okay? Would you like me to peel? Would you like me to take the skin off your potatoes? Things like that. Rather speak to them as you would an adult, right? Would you like me to peel these potatoes? Mommy, when they ask you, Mommy, what are you doing? Don't say, no, I'm just doing work. Tell them that I am filing a report for SARS. They're going to ask you, what is filing? Confuse your child, basically. And as they get confused, and this also helps to determine as well what kind of person your child is. Is your child analytical, or are they, there's other, I can't think of them now, but this will also help you in being able to analyze what kind of a child you have. But do not dumb down your language. Speak in the language that you would an adult, right? And let them be confused. Let them stop and be like, wait, but what does processing means? What does filing means? What is SARS? Mom, what is SARS? And then you explain it to them, very as you would an adult, right? So that I found it helped us a lot because my son would just use these big words that surprise people, would be around people and they'll be like, oh my gosh, you're a child. Did he just say that? What do you mean? Do you even know what that means? And he would know exactly what that word means. So don't dumb down your language. Speak to your child like you're speaking to a grown adult. Tip number 3 is be what you want your child to be. Hard. Very hard. One of the hardest things. But if you want your child to be somebody that loves reading, you need to love reading as well. So you need to be seen reading. If it means you need to act like you're reading, do that. But you need to embody what you want your child to be or to be interested in, right? So I found that also another thing, and I get this a lot, especially if you live in the ghetto, in the township, right? You will hear people say, yo, your child speaks such good English. Which school does he go to? And when they find out that he doesn't go to a multiracial school, they get confused. Like, what? How? Njani? Wait, they don't understand it. But if you want your child to be fluent in a certain language, you need to speak that language. And I always tell them that actually he will go on and play these games. And now that he's grown, he obviously watches a lot more videos than he does games. But he takes in a lot of this information, and there needs to be a place where he needs to practice it, right? So it's one thing learning something for like an hour or 2 hours, but it's another thing actually using it in your daily life. So if you want your child to learn Zulu, you need to speak Zulu with your child. If you want your child to be fluent in English, you need to speak English with your child. So your child needs to hear it from you. If you want your child to be a very good reader, you need to be a reader around your child. Let your child see you reading these things, and that's very important. So be exactly what you want your child to be. And tip number 4, right? So first of all, there's something that I think we are taught, but we forget it. And when you try to be a parent and you try to teach your child or be present in their learning journey or their education, there are things that we don't know. And one of the things that I realized that parents do not know is that when you're learning how to read, what's more important is the sound of the alphabets, or the sound that an alphabet makes instead of the name, right? So instead of saying A, you'd say eh or ah, right? Depending if it's Vedic or if it's English, you would say eh or ah. That's absolutely very important. You would say for you, right? Instead of you. So when you teach your child alphabets, yes, they'll learn it when they're watching these videos. But one thing I like about these games that I'm suggesting that you let them play around with is that they emphasize the sounds of alphabets. That's more important. So when you read a word, you don't read it in the name of the alphabet, but you read the sounds that it makes. Make sense? Yeah. So if you forgot, probably have a lot of parents that I've engaged before, they definitely have forgotten. Try and watch these videos and try and remind yourself what the sound of the alphabet. It's okay. Your child can forget what the name of the alphabet is, but it's important for them to remember the sound it makes, or the sound that it is, right? That way it will be easier for them to learn how to read. So the last tip, which is tip number 5, is buy them books, right? Buy them books from a young age. You can buy like a bit complex books that are longer for you to read to them. But as they grow older and as they start learning words and putting together words like I and M and I and N and all of these things, and it will be good for them to have some books around the house to read, right? So if you're gonna go the decision of cutting down on TV, cutting down on YouTube and all of these things that they always so taken from with, yeah, it's very, very absolutely important that there should be books around. So you need to buy them books. Buy them books for the different levels that they're on, right? You can't buy them a book that is like 75 pages for like a child that is only beginning to put three-lettered words together. You get what I'm saying? So buy them books for each stage and each level that they're on. And yeah, cut if you can, if you want to. Cut some TV time for yourself as well, so they can see you reading more books, and reading books more than watching TV. Yeah, basically. So tip number 5, definitely buy them books. Always have books lying around. So that's it. Thank you so much. If you watched till the end, thank you very much. I know this is random because I haven't posted in a while. It's like, where have you been? Why are you sending this? Why? But anyways, it was random. It just came to me and I thought I should share, because this is I think we're on the 3rd term in South Africa. Yes, 3rd term, right? It is 3rd term, going for our 4th term, and it's very important to start them early, right? Yeah, I wanted this to be as short as possible because honestly it's just a random video that I thought I should share. But yeah, thank you guys. Enjoy the rest of your day. Bye.